Alrighty, what's up everybody? Peter Joseph here for another video on your Tuesday night, January the 20th, 2026. Thank you all for watching right here on the Peter Joseph YouTube wrestling channel, youtube.com/Peter Joseph. Make sure you like the video, hit the subscribe button down below inside of my pants, otherwise known as the description marks below, on this channel and my other channels. Show your love and support. Leave a comment on this video or any one of my videos from the past, the present, and in the future. Conan, do it now, but don't leave stupid comments. You get sent to the Shadow Realm and never be seen from again, and Ozzy and Saint will eat your soul. So don't do it. Go do it on somebody else's channel. Don't waste my time. That's that. Share the video all over the internet. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to tap and slap that bell to turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one, because if you miss anything, well, you're out of luck. And you know what that means. And if you don't know what it means, you're really out of luck. And that's that. So like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and all that good stuff. And if you're brand new here, well, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax, you grab yourself a nice, tasty, cold one. As always, put your feet up and enjoy the show. If you like it, great. You know, too bad. That's that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on this very cold Tuesday night, we got NXT coming up at the top of the hour. Should be a great show. Lots of contenders matches coming up tonight. We got I think we got a triple threat match for a TNA Knockouts title shot. So whoever wins that match will face the Elegance brand, whatever that match will happen. We got Shawn Legacy in action in the world title qualifier match. We got a 6-way ladder match coming up 2 weeks from tonight at Vengeance Day. I don't know why that's an actual event now, not a pay-per-view. Go figure that one out. We got that and a whole lot more on your 2-hour cure for insomnia, and that's NXT. We got that. Big ups to Carlos Beltran, former Met, now in the Hall of Fame. It took him long enough, huh? It took you long enough to put that guy in. But why can't you put Keith Hernandez in? Or David Wright? Baseball Hall of Shame. Well, yeah, Andrew Jones goes in. You know, I don't really care about him that much. You know, he used to kill the Mets next to Chipper Jones. Oh, I'm sorry, Larry. But yeah, he goes in, and a couple other guys go in. You know, so big ups to them joining the Baseball Hall of Fame this year. Got the Baseball Hall of Fame game. I think they got a game in Cooperstown coming up later in the season. And they got the Field of Dreams game later this season as well. If you build it, they will come. Yeah, that. So that should be interesting. That's that. Also, really weird TNA news. Now, I mentioned before that TNA on AMC got a big rating. Oh boy, was I wrong. So I boxed, so my bad. TNA's rating, now there are two ratings here. I don't know which one is which. Google says 95,000. 95,000 views. And then PW Torch comes out and says that it's 177,000. Ouch. I thought they did like a 1.6 or like something like that. They beat out Dynamite on everything this week. But, well, no, we were wrong. I was wrong. So. We got that, but not a good start for the TNA on AMC era. Hopefully this week they'll do much better, because Genesis I thought was pretty damn good. You know, Carlos put his healing touch, made the show look great. Now, if we can constitute that to the television show, I think we got something going. But I mean, it is what it is. Didn't Raw start off really bad when it started? Back in 1993. It didn't get great ratings back then because the WWE stunk back then. Until like 96, 97 when the Attitude Era came around. Then the ratings went, boop! went way up. So slow starts usually have a great ending near the end. But we'll see what happens with TNA on AMC. You know, I think AMC is like, oh, it was a great show. Right? They'll tell you that because they know it stunk. But whatever at that. But that's the big news of today. Unreal Season 2 came out. I watched the first 3 episodes. I love it. I am interested. The first episode was really about Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. And then the second episode was about R-Truth. Third episode was Seth Rollins getting the Money in the Bank. Naomi getting Money in the Bank. Chelsea Green was in there. A little bit of R-Truth. Blah, blah, blah. But I haven't watched, near the end of episode 3, I had to watch episode 4 and 5. It's only 5 episodes. I don't know why, there should be more. And they got picked up for season 3. So that should be exciting. Probably be after, I think season 3 will be way after WrestleMania. So, but, pretty good start. Pretty good start. And I'm one of the people that's like, oh, this is bad. Wrong? Yeah. You tend to be wrong every once in a while. You know, in music, you don't like some certain band, and you give them a chance, and then you love them. Like Iron Maiden and other bands that I don't like. You know, even some of the, not the new rappers of today, but, you know, the old rappers that I didn't like. I'm starting to, like, getting into it, but not much, but whatever that is. But yeah, sometimes you gotta give things and people a second chance. You think? Just saying. But we got that. Alright, enough about that bull funky. Hope you had a great day, and if not, too bad. Gearing up for a big blizzard maybe this weekend, but we're not gonna know until probably Thursday or Friday. Been kind of fluctuating between, we're getting 5 inches, now we're getting 3 inches, then back to 5. And back in my day, I wanted to be a meteorologist. Too much math. Too much math and too much weirdness, you know, physics and all that other garbage. Even though I was good in physics, but, you know, it's not that, I'm not great in math. I'm pretty good, but not great, you know. I don't even know sign or math, but, sorry. But anyway, we got that, so yeah, not gonna be fun here this weekend. Cold as balls like it was today. It's 20 degrees right now. The only good thing is that the sun's going down around 5:30. And by the time we hit the second week of March, it'll be 7 o'clock. By the time it gets dark. So, we got that. But enjoy it. Enjoy the week. And I hope you have a safe week and be safe and be well. And that's all that matters. Alright, after 8 minutes to spiel, ladies and gentlemen, really quickly, before we get to NXT, it is time for your really late and so far out of motherfucking date AEW Dynamite! Jimmy Jam Walker, baby. That's what he used to say. Dynamite on Good Times. But it is time for your AEW Dynamite and Collision review for Maximum Carnage. So we're going to do a 2-for-1 special for that ass right now on the Peter Joseph channel. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, so let's get really quickly to Dynamite, and it emanated from the Arizona Financial Theater, Theater. Kind of looks like the PNC in here, not. Looks like the PNC in Homedale, New Jersey. Kind of looks like that without the amphitheater stuff on the top of it. But has that ambiance, if you will, of looking like an amphitheater. What kind of looks like. But anyway, we move on. Alright, so Maximum Carnage Night 1. A little bit of a change in commentary. We have the man behind the mask, as always, Excalibur. And the man is pretty much from Phoenix, Arizona. Well, I think he lives there with Bree. I know we all know him from Aberdeen, Washington. You know him, you love him, the vegan himself, Brian Danielson, Fraggleson, Commentatorson. Yes! Alright, so he's back on commentary. just for Dynamite. And Dynamite was pretty damn good, I gotta say. Starts with Samoa Joe, at the time, 1/3 of the AEW Trios Champions with Shibata and Powerhouse Will Haas before he left. And then you got the man. Side for the man! You! Get in here, Hook. That's Hook, ladies and gentlemen, with his Doritos. But I got cookies. No Doritos today. Maybe tomorrow. Anyway, so Samoa Joe wants to deal with the Hangman, Adam Page, because he does a lot of cowboy shit. But he needs to get ready to defend the Trios titles. That's going to be on Collision. We'll talk about that later. So he's put a bounty on Adam Page. And who should come in but the bounty hunter himself, the Bad Apple Brian Keith, to come collect. And really be the second bounty of the year so far. I think we had one last week, a week or so ago, that did not get collected. I think it was Big Cass and Brian Keith trying to get the bounty on, I forget who, but... Alright, so we got that. So I gave that first segment 2.5 out of 5 stars. I'm off and running on Dynamite. Alright, first match out the gate. Oh. We had the Bastard Pac taking on our good buddy. Hi, guys! Ha 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 ha! It's me, Darby, your good buddy. I just want to let you know that this match, I killed myself for you guys because I love you guys and I love to put myself through hell and break my back and every other piece of my body. I weigh 175 pounds. I live in my car in Seattle. I'm so fucking emo, guys. But I do it for you. Oh, good old Darby. Another match with Pac. Oh, they went berserk in this match. 11-minute match. They went into the crowd. Darby diving off the balcony, doing sick fucking shit. And then we finally get back in the ring after a break. Darby hits a missile dropkick, charges right into a belly-to-belly in the corner. Ow. Then release belly-to-belly superplex. Says somebody, "Lays those eggs, Chico. Something happened to this. Something happened to you, Chico." God bless Scott Hall. Over the ropes, onto the ramp. Ow. Damn. Damn, Darby, you sick fuck. I forget who it was. I read something that, somebody told Darby to stop his madness. Yeah, like, you're gonna tell that to Darby, right? Guy's not even dirty. I don't even think he's dirty yet. He's doing all this high-flying, death-defying... He thinks he's Sabu, but he's not really Sabu, but... There's only one Sabu. That's you, sir. The death-defying, homicidal, genocidal, suicidal son of a bitch named Sabu. Or as we say, Sab-fucking-boo in ECW lore. But we got that. Anyway. So, back in the ring, Darby flips Pac. He's like, "Fuck you, Pac." Knocks him to the floor, setting up another coffin drop. Then a third one. You had like 5 of them. And then once on the apron, that finally connects. And then we get the good old rep bump inside the ring. Scorpion Deathlock goes on. And then the Death Riders come out. William Yuta, the man who fears himself. The Dancing Fool, Danny Garcia, who I believe resigned to, I heard he resigned to AEW. Anyway, Claudio Castagnoli, I think we saw him in Shafir. So they come out. A chair is wrapped around Pac's ankle. And then Darby, you sick fuck. Coffin drop on the bed, on the ankle. Pillmanized the ankle, which I think was already fucked up from Pac. I think Pac was already out with an ankle injury before. And now he's out again. Yeesh. So Pillmanized his ankle. And then he hits a Scorpion Deathlock. Or actually locks it in and and Pac tapped out. 11 minutes. So crazy as fuck match. I don't know why this wasn't like a false count anywhere match or some type of hardcore match. Just a one-on-one crazy fest. But still, pretty damn good. 3.25 out of 5 stars. Darby wins and he's beating everybody in the Death Riders. Now where does he go? I don't know, Jim. I don't know. We move on. Alright, match number 2. The bounty on the Hangman, Adam Page, comes out to do some cowboy shit. Takes on the Bad Apple, the bounty hunter himself, Brian Keith, with Big Cass. Not just under 9.5 minutes. Big Cass distracted most of the match. We're getting to the end. Big Cass also has a distraction to break out the buckshot lariat. Swerve comes out, cut Big Cass off with the chain. Then the Hangman hits the buckshot lariat. 1, 2, 3. He gets the win, and well, no bounty for you, sir. The only bounty you're gonna get is paper towels. Shit. Alright, so we got that. So Hangman stops the bounty, and that's it. Match was alright, 2.5 out of 5 stars. After the match, Adam Page goes on a humongous rant about Samoa Joe not being man enough to fight him himself. Swerve says they're coming for MJF and his Triple B title because they want to be back on top. And then Kenny back out Omega! Bang! He comes in, interrupts, saying 3 of the greatest challengers for the world title are in the ring right now. Him and Swerve and Hangman. Kenny takes pride in being called the god of professional wrestling, which he kind of is. And he knows he has to win some matches to get a world title shot. Then he looks at Hangman and Swerve, says, I'm going for the title. Page says, well, if we cross paths, may the best man win. They shake hands. Sportsmanship! Yay! And Swerve's like, what? He starts glaring at Kenny. And Kenny's like really staring him down. So Swerve and Adam Page leave, and then the Dog Callis family, most of them come out. Don says, Kenny, you need to win matches. So how about your first match? You face your old buddy Josh Alexander. Oh, they had a great match in TNA when Kenny was the belt collector back then. So Kenny's like, all right, I'll beat him again. Let's do it right now. So Josh Alexander, he's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. Let's do it. Don Callis says, no. We're going to do it next week. Pussy. 6 Tsunami done. No. Anyway, so next week we got that match, and Kenny then hits his catchphrase, I bid you adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night, bang! That's it. Alright, so we move on with that. Alright, we're in the back. The big man, Brody King, runs into Serpentico, otherwise known as John Cruz, and says, don't let Bandito punch you in the face anymore. Okay. John Cruz says, don't let Bandito hit you in the face, pedal. That's okay with Brody because it's my time, and you and me are going to have a standby match. John's like, I'm not ready to fight. So anyway, I gave that 2 out of 5 stars, and then the match happens, and it lasts 38 seconds. So why is Brody King becoming freaking Lance Archer all of a sudden? Lance Archer's beating people in Ring of Honor, some freaking Hammerneggers, in like 20, 30, 40 seconds. Now you're doing the same thing with Brody King. Why? Just let him go for the TNT title. Or go for the world title. Or the national title. Why would you have him beating flunkies like John Cruz? And other Hammerneggers, we have no idea who they people are. So anyway, Brody King wins with a Gunzo Bomb. I wonder if Kermit the Frog likes that move. And then you have the Swedish Chef. Basically. And the beak is like beep 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 beep. I can do almost all the freaking impressions of the Muppets, but I know that sounded funny. I know it's gonna get clipped. I don't give a shit. But we move on, yeah. Alright, so Zeno out of that. After the match, Brody tells Bandito, you better win the world title from MJF later on, and then it would be my honor to get a title shot. You know he's turning heel pretty soon. It's gonna happen. Alright, we get that. Alright, then we move on to a fatal four-way match for a shot at FTR. Fuck the Revival. Dax, the Axe, Horwood, and Cash. He's got a clock! Wheeler with the AEW Tag Team titles. So we got the Don Callis family represented by Mark Davis and Jake Doyle, or Jake something. They take on the Gates of Agony, Toa Leona, and Bishop Quan! I know not Quan! Final Fantasy IX reference. Jet Speed, Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Amanda's going out with Mara Sade, or Miss Jackson if you're nasty. That's Kevin Knight, you lucky bastard. And they take on the Young Bucks. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, who, if you didn't see BTE yesterday, we basically showed this match, most of it, not all of it, but certain parts, and then they were in the airport, and then backstage getting ready. Tornado Tag Team match, by the way. I thought it was just, fatal four-way match. It was Tornado Tag Team rules, and this match was berserk. They went at it, crazy spots, a quadruple super kick, quadruple dives off the top rope. Oh, love it. Wrestling! Yay! We get that. Then we get a good old wheelbarrow gilly cutter. Bang! Drops Matt. And then the Gates of Agony hit the... they hit the wheelbarrow cutter. Then open the gates for a near fall on Nick, as Kevin Knight made a save. Toa Leona pulls both of the Young Bucks into a fireman's carry. That guy is beastly. Not Wheatley, so good it brought back Beastie. No, not that. But, anyway. So he picks both of the Bucks up. Mike Bailey's in with the ultimate weapon. Another Final Fantasy reference to break that up. Then the Bucks and Jet Speed trade Fruit Roll-Offs for near falls. And so the BTE trigger, that connects. They go for the cover, about to win the match. Excuse me. But then Ricochet, who was on commentary, ran down to the ring, pulled out the referee. But then Jungle Jack Perry, who gets a national title shot, I believe, tomorrow night against Ricochet. He's like he's gonna win. I'd love it for him to win, but Jungle Jack Perry takes Ricochet out, and then inside the ring, Jake Doyle powerbombs Speedball Mike Bailey onto everybody at ringside, and then Mark Davis finishes his partner Kevin Knight off with a good old-fashioned Mr. Wonderful pile driver! 1, 2, 3, they get the win, and they will face FTR at a later date for the AEW Tag Team titles in a match that lasted under 15 minutes. Great match, 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, FTR and the man who gets no hose and still in a wheelchair, Stokely Hathaway, to come out. They have a big old brawl. We get that. We move on. Alright, I didn't know this, and I'm reading my my notes, some of my notes, but I failed to read this part. We got a tribute to Bob Weir, who passed away recently. I didn't know that. He was in the Grateful Dead, one of the other guitar player next to Jerry Garcia. So, yeah, so I'm going to have to do a posthumous, I could do a late tribute video to Bob Weir, because I do listen to the Grateful Dead. Not the old Grateful Dead, The only song I actually listen to from the Grateful Dead is Touch of Grey. That's the only song. And there's a bunch of others, but Touch of Grey is like one of my favorites. Because it's the last song by Jerry Garcia when he was alive. Touch of Grey. Yeah, that song. Alright, so we got that. And then Skyflight, Darius and Dante Martin, Scorpio Sky, and the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels, and the beautiful Zeta Steel. They're all ready for the Don Callis family. So get that. Move on. Alright, then it's time for the ladies at the death slot. So we had a 6-woman tag team match. The Babes of Wrath, Holly, Cameron, and the Resident Fun Girl, the TBS champion, Willow Nightingale, boom, bam! They team up with the AEW Women's Champion, Chris Cakelander, to take on the Triangle of Madness, the Spider Lady, Decla, and the Sisters of Sin. That's Sky Blue and my girl, Julia Hart. Decent match, 11 and a half, just a smidge over 11 and a half minutes. Getting to the end, and Harley was in trouble, gets the hot tag to Chris Cakelander, comes in, cleans house. Sky Blue and Julia Hart rammed into each other. Ouch. Willow is in with a spine buster. Julia Hart plants Willow with the assisted swinging rock bottom, God almighty rock bottom. And then Decla knocks Willow into the corner, and she spears Chris Cakelander, who shoved Willow Nightingale out of the way, taking a bullet for her best friend. That sets up the stomp. 1, 2, 3. Decla pins the AEW Women's Champion. You know what that means. Decla's going to get a AEW Women's title shot pretty soon. Not that she's going to win, but we get that. But all in all, match was meh. 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's that. Alright, then we got Swerve giving Get Speed a pep talk. So he leaves, and then the Hangman comes in, decides, I'm going to team with you guys on Collision, and we're going to go for the Trios titles, because they wrestled before a few months ago. That seemed to work. We're going to do it again. So Kenny said during that segment, you just don't get handed title shots. And then Page's like, yeah, I'm going to give these guys a title shot, and I'm in too. Heyman, you're a hypocrite. Just saying. Let me move on. Alright, so I get that 2.5 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we get a promo for the Rascals with Trey Miguel at the time, and now he got released because there is some ongoing tension or past tension. I don't know what that's about. So Trey Miguel will not be with the Rascals. It's going to be Desmond Xavier, Myron Reed, and Zachary Wentz. Still, could go after those trios titles, those tag titles, and any other title in AEW. So, still a good fit, but, you know, it would be nice if Trey Miguel didn't have all those past problems, and maybe he'll come to AEW later, I don't know when, but later. Alright, so we got that. Alright, then we're going to look back at the one time Hangman Page and Get Speed teamed together back in August. I thought it was months ago, but it's August. So they get a title shot. And Kenny probably pissed off about that. But we move on. Alright, then we get to the main event of Dynamite for the AEW World title. Maxwell Jacob Fartknocker takes on the Ring of Honor World Champ Bandito, whose title is not on the line. This match was epic. Holy cookies and cream. They went at it back and forth. Bandito got a code red. Got an info off a code red. Goes for the 21 plex. It gets blocked. And then MJF pulled him into a slingshot. Giddy cuts a bang. For another near fall. Then they trade fruit roll-ups for twos and then ones. I felt bad for Bryce Remsburg. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. He's getting a workout. He works out, you know. So we get that. Bandito hits the XD into the 21 plex, but he can't bridge himself to get the pin. So MJF got out of that to kick out. And then MJF pulls him into the salt of the earth, which changes into the bell lock. Oh, that made Daniel Bryan pissed. Or Bryan Danielson pissed. And then Bandito fights. He's like, open up, brother. Then he goes to sleep. He didn't tap out, but he passed out. Which Cena should have done against Walter. Just saying. But anyway, MJF picks up the win. Retained the title in under 20 minutes. Great match. 4 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, MJF gets on the mic. Agrees that Bandito will be a world champion sometime. You forgot Ring of Honor's world champion too, dude. Anyway. He meant AEW. Right. That means I have to do this, so he turns back to being an asshole, a schmuck, beats him down, and then Brody King comes out to make the save to end the show. So there you go. So I don't know what's going to happen on tomorrow night when we move on with that. Alright, so Dynamite, I thought it was pretty damn good. So I give it 7.5 out of 10 stars. And that's that. Alright, we're going to take a sippy sip, and then we're going to get to Collision, and then we're going to go right into NXT. So, cheers to you. And we move on. Alright, Maximum Carnage Night 2, Electric Boogaloo. Wasn't that great, but we get that. Alright, we're still at the Arizona Financial Theater in Phoenix, Arizona. This time our commentary team is the legendary Tony Baloney Schiavone and the great man from England. You know him, you love him, you can't get enough of him. Nigel McGuinness, me love. Alright, so we got that. So we move on with that, and that's it. Alright, so we start off with the opening sequence, then we get to match number 1, and Hedico taking on Andrade El Idolo. Why are you so crazy? Take it easy. Take it easy, tranquilo. Our favorite person in the whole wide world. Good match. Andrade hits the Three Amigos ese like Eddie Guerrero. You like that, Eddie? Meh. Okay. I guess he did not like it. So that puts Angelico back down. Andrade pulls him up at 2. Then a twisting neck breaker called the DM, not the message, is now the DM. Why did you change it? Now, like, the DM, what does it mean? The dumb maneuver? The damn maneuver? Message in, if you're in Ebonics? Cabane, pero what are you doing? Anyway, so his stat on Angelico gets the win in under 4 minutes. Match was 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that's that. Alright, then we see the Rascals coming out of their weed-infested, smelly, smoky locker room. They introduce themselves, Zachary Wentz, Myron Reed, and Desmond Xavier. So, they picked up on the whole Trey Miguel thing. He gone. They didn't mention it, but he gone. So, they want to be where the best wrestle, but they like to smoke as well. Hey, like Lord Helmut would say, smoke if you got him. You okay, sir? Good. You okay? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I okay? Yes, sir. You look great, sir. Good. Smoke if you got him. Spaceballs is just a classic movie. Classic. And people, I've talked to people, they still haven't seen it yet. What is with you people? What's with you, man? I fell for the 2! I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book! What's with you, man? I should be cast for the second one. Really, if there's a third one, sign me up. I would love to be in that movie. As just an extra. Or doing something. Do something! Do something! No, I'm not gonna comb the desert. You found anything yet? No. How about you guys? We ain't found shit! I love that movie. I love that movie. If you don't like it, fuck you, man. Fuck you. That's all I gotta say about that. Alright, moving on. Alright, so we got the Rascals, and we move on. Alright, then we're gonna recap the Wrestle Young Veterans feuding with Eddie Kingston and the Funky Monkey Ortiz. Eddie Kingston has been having a little bit of trouble with the Grizzled Young Veterans, so he brought back Ortiz to help him out. And as we saw Ring of Honor, they saved somebody, and they came out and did what they gotta do. Alright, so we get to this match. Wasn't a great match. Under 13 minutes. Getting to the end. After Ortiz gets taken outside with some yelling and a suicide dive. Come back, Ortiz still in trouble. Manages to strike his way to freedom. Eddie Kingston comes in for the hot tag with the Kawada chops of doom to both of the Grizzled Young Veterans, which allows Ortiz to hit a sit-up powerbomb for near falling Drake. Eddie Kingston and Gibson argue a lot until James Gibson goes after Ortiz, and then leaving Eddie to grab the scarf, and then Gibson hits a middle-up code breaker. And then Drake grabs the Koji clutch on Eddie Kingston. That's good for 1, 2 arm drops, 2 arm drops. Excuse me. But then Eddie, as he was about to do the third arm drop, he's like, fuck you, man. So then he survives, and then Ortiz takes out Gibson and a DDT. Jake Roberts style almost. Trust me. Finishes off Drake, and that's it. So Eddie Kingston and Ortiz get the win in under 13 minutes. Match was 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that's that. Alright, then we got the Babes of Wrath. And Chris Caitlander, excuse me. They're upset about their loss on Dynamite to the Triangle of Madness. Chris Caitlander says she would take the bullet for them to be out there with her best friends. Aww. But as for Thekla, she's going to give her a title shot, because that's what a champion does. And she likes the taste of toxic. You're toxic, Kit Wilson! Da-da-da-da-da, Kit Wilson, I'm the topic. Okay. Great song. Great. I hope they, I'm gonna pull a Cameron Grimes out of this one. Kit Wilson's gonna go to the moon. We hope. We got that. Alright, so I gave the women's segment 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, FTR comes out with the man who gets no hose, Stokely Hathaway, for a chat. Stokely congratulates Mark Davis and Jake Doyle for becoming the #1 contenders, who have all kinds of potential. Cash Wheeler, who's got a Glock, says the team, Jake, something, Doyle, is good, but they're not FTR good. And then Dax Harwood cuts a passionate promo after greeting Nigel McGuinness. Which they've been going at, way back when. Doesn't like the people here because they live in a fantasy world. Doesn't have an issue with Doyle and Davis, but FTR is the team who built the division. Actually, that was the Bucks. They go up in North Carolina and beat up guys like Davis and Doyle over and over and over again. And now it's time for them to find out the hard way. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, McFly. The easy way. Alright, so we get that. 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then the crew. That's Kaden Carter, Leo Rush, and Action Andretti. They want to welcome the Rascals in a way they'll never forget. See what what happens with that. Alright, so I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars. I gave the FTR segment 2.5 out of 5 stars. And we're about to start with NXT. Then we get a video from my girl Zeta Steel, was made to do this. You bet your life she did. So anyway, she's in her AEW Collision, AEW debut, basically. And she gets fed to Marina Shafir. John Moxley's on commentary. Christopher Daniels of Fallen Angels out there with Zeta. Zeta did all she could, but in the end, she gets locked in the mother's milk and tapped out in under 6 minutes. That's pretty much it. So, match-wise, I gave it 2.25 out of 5 stars. I thought Tony Storm and Mina, they come out and say some shit. I think that's maybe later. I might be get that. Alright, we still have NXT with a recap of Ava Raine talking about the vacant NXT world title is going to be contested in a 6-way ladder match. Ricky Starks has a bye, and now we got qualifying matches this week. So we're going to get all that. Let me move on. Alright, so after that, the Don Callis family of Kosuke Takeshita, he teams up with Kyle Fletcher, Pro-Dog Star! They take on Skyflight, Darius and Dante Martin, and Scorpio Sky, and El Clone was also with the Don Callis family. This was a pretty fun match. Not going to go through all of it, obviously. We're getting to the end. Everything breaks down. Fletcher gets set into the corner for a double DDT. And then Josh Alexander, I don't know who was in this match. It was like everybody in the Don Callis family, basically. Josh Alexander's World's Strongest Slam onto Darius on the apron, ow. And then El Clone gives Dante a step-up Asai moonsault on the apron, ow. And Darius gets caught in the ankle lock. Then the Torture Rack bomb sets up an arm trap pile driver. I mean, that ending sequence was crazy. So the Don Callis family get the win in a little over 13 minutes. And that's that. Eli Knight, I think he's taking on Sean Legacy. I think. He's taking on somebody. But we also got Idiot Le Fleur, that Mexican wannabe French guy. He's taking on the Canadian national champion, Old Ego, Ethan Page. We got that. And, hey, my cousin, Tony D, beating the crap out of people at the end of the last week's show. Where he beating the shit out of Dion Lennox. We all thought that he was helping Joe Hendry. And then he beat up Joe Hendry. And we're like, wait a minute, is he joining Dark State? And then he beat up some security guards. And then he left the ring looking at Ava. Ava's like, you son of a bitch. So we're just going to see what happens with that. Alright, Ava's talking to some of the security guards who got beat up last week. One of them was a member on LFG. So basically he's saying Tony doesn't have his friends and family anymore. That's bullshit. So she's taking extra precautions and basically tells the security guards to be on high alert. Yeah, that's right. That's gonna work, Ava. You do know my cousin is in the Mafia, right? Dumbass. Alright, so we got the NXT belt high above the rafters of the Capitol Wrestling Center once again. And we're going to start off with the Canadian national title match with All Ego Ethan Page taking on the debut of the French luchador Idiot Le Fleur. I would be shocked if we get a title change here. Let me move on. Alright, so Don Callis family get the win in 13 minutes. Then after the match, Takeshita comes out to hug Kyle Fletcher, and then he pose. Alpha Star! Pretty much. Or Proto Alpha, whatever you want to call it. I thought Takeshita was in the match. I guess he just came out and went back and came out again. But we get that. Alright, after that, Roddy! Roger Strong's ready to win the CMLL World title, but he doesn't want the conglomeration around. And then the funky chicken himself, Mark Briscoe. Jay Briscoe, reach for the sky, boy! Mark Briscoe wants to face El Clone next week. And you know the old saying, if you're ready to conglomerate, be ready to share your plate. And whether it's English or Espanol, you must be ready to share your role. Alright. And, Orange Cassidy, that gimmick stealer, he's like, yeah, whatever. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Idiot Le Fleur. Comes on like the Timu version of Matt Riddle. He's jacked. Yeah, he looks like Matt Riddle. He looks like Matt Riddle. You can tell it looks like Matt Riddle. But he has shoes on, not flip-flops. I am so great! Look at me! Pepe Le Pew! Anyway, we move on. Alright, so we got that. So I gave that whole segment 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we get to another squash match. We got the Megasis, Megan Bayne, teaming up with her former bestie, Penelope Ford. They take on Danielle Camella. That's Vanessa Bourne, for you people that don't know. And the woman hasn't won a match in God knows how long. Viva Van. And basically, they get beat in 95 seconds after a doomsday device. Ouch. On Vanessa Bourne. 1, 2, 3 to get the win. So match I gave a dud because it was so boring. After the match, now the time is the bombs. Timeless Tony Storm, darling bosom. And Mina. Shirakawa, they come out, promise vengeance. And they call them all slop tarts. Of course, Ranger Shafiro's at ringside as well. And remind us that God doesn't wear lipstick. Obviously. Why would God do that? I don't know. Alright, so we get that. Alright, Swerve is back. His plan to get back to the world title. Win. Kevin Knight comes in and reminds Swerve about his advice. He thinks he's the current and seemingly... Well, I guess I don't know what I meant. He's the current and seemingly wants to fight him. Swerve's like, alright. And he tells Kevin Knight, win the trios titles, and then come back to see me about being a main eventer. Alright, so we got that. Oh, you think you're special because you got it. Ilya LaFleur got knocked down with a shoulder tackle, and he kips up. Oh, you're special. And then he patted him on the head. The fans like this guy. I'm surprised. What are you, Bailey? Doing that shit? I'm gonna pet you in the head. Anyway, we move on. Alright, then we get to Jungle Jack Perry taking on Anthony Bowens for a future national title shot. Ricochet on commentary. And by the way, ladies, scissor me, mommy ass! Alright, so we get that. We get a code of honor to start. Then they get some technical wrestling. But in the end, Jack Perry hits a running DDT for a near fall, and it's time to be frustrated. He's pissed. Bowens ties him up with a roll-up for a near fall, followed by a clothesline. Jack Perry is back with a jumping knee, though it looked like Bowens blocked a little bit, some of it. But Jack Perry's like, alright, I'm going to do it again. Does it again, and it hits Bowens flush. 1, 2, 3, Jack Perry gets the win, and he gets a title shot, I believe, this Wednesday night on the program against Ricochet for the AEW national title. Good match. 2.5 out of 5 stars, and then afterwards, Jack Perry chases Ricochet to the back, and that's it. Excuse me. Alright, then we got a video for Hangman Page and Samoa Joe. I forgot when that match is going to be. We got that. Ow! Damn, he fell to the ground. Anyway. After that, the Death Riders, John Moxley, the Continental Breakfast Champions champion, and his crew, they're not happy with the Don Callis family. And we all know Moxley does not like Don Callis. We think he got that scar from Moxley. So Pac goes, who the f*** do you think you are? Pac getting a little bit testy. Frodo, calm down, Frodo. Anyway, Danny Garcia talks about what it means to be a family. Little passionate promo there from the Dancing Fool. And then Moxley says, I'm the worst thing anyone has ever seen in wrestling. Damn. Oh, we get that. Alright, so 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Then your main event of Collision for the Trios titles. The Ops, Powerhouse Will Hobbs in his final match in AEW. teams up with Samoa Joe and I think it was a Shibata or a Hook. But anyway, yeah, Shibata. They take on Jet Speed and the Hangman Adam Page. Pretty good match. We get to the end. We go to break, come back. Kevin Knight gets out of trouble, hands it back to Adam Page. He cleans house, including a moonsault to the floor to drop Hobbs and Samoa Joe. But Hobbs powers out of a Deadeye attempt, gets his leg swept, sweep the leg down or something, by Mike Bailey. Kevin Knight springboards into a release, rock bottom! And then Samoa Joe comes in for a snap power slam. Then a backsplash gets a near fall on Kevin Knight. Joe grabs the Coquina clutch on Adam Page, but Kevin Knight, who is the legal man, rolled up powerhouse Will Hobbs. 1, 2, 3, we have new AEW Trios champs in Jet Speed and the Hangman Adam Page in their second time teaming together. So they had to get the belts off the Ops because Will Hobbs' contract went bye-bye. He pretty much going to WWE pretty soon, which I think is a bad mistake on his part. So we'll see what happens there when he gets there. But anyway, over 11-minute match, pretty damn good, 3.25 out of 5 stars, and that's it. Then to end the show, Swerve comes out to watch, and that's it. Alright, so Collision was a little bit meh. So I gave Collision 6.5 out of 10 stars. But let me know what you guys thought of both shows down below in the comments section. And like Trick Willie would say, let's talk about it. And that's that. Alright guys, I am out of here. Gonna go watch the rest of NXT. Then I'll be back a little bit later right here on the channel with your NXT review. Tomorrow we'll talk about Unreal. I will watch the final couple episodes and then give you an overall review of it. That'll be right here on the channel as well. I'll also simulcast it on the Shadows Lair too. So I want to put a little bit more, a few more episodes up for the Shadows Lair. So that'll be episode 102 of the Shadows Lair, but it'll also be on the Peter Joseph channel as well. So I'm going to double it. So we move on with that. And also we got Dynamite tomorrow night. And as always, we'll do a Dynamite review right here on the channel. So a 3-for-1 special, really. Get Dynamite Collision now, and then tomorrow you get another edition of AEW Dynamite. But Collision will be over the weekend after Saturday night's main event. So lots of stuff coming your way. Lots of videos coming your way too. So please hit that bell. And like Trick Willie would say once again, let's talk about it. That's that. Alright, I'm going to watch NXT. This pretty decent match between Idiot Le Fleur and Old Ego Ethan Page. See what comes out of it. And that's pretty much it. Alright guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Peace.